Yo, what's going on? Mike from Mike Talk Sports. One of the more disappointing stories coming out in the Summer League thus far is James Bouknight and his struggles. Of course, the Charlotte Hornets are 0-2 in the Summer League, and their former first-round pick, James Bouknight, really has struggled in these two games. So in today's video, I'm going to be analyzing James Bouknight, and I'm going to be answering the question, can James Bouknight ever bounce back to still have a good NBA career? So James Bouknight played 2 seasons at UConn, and in his second sophomore season, it was his last season. Now, he didn't play that many games this year, under 20, but in that season, he shot 45% from the field, 29% from 3, 1.8 assists per game, 2.8 turnovers a game, and 18.7 points per game. So pretty inefficient stats. The assist-to-turnover ratio really is a theme of James Bouknight's career, even going back to high school. It's honestly absolutely atrocious, and it's the first point of this video. His assist-to-turnover ratio has been so bad throughout his career. In the Summer League thus far, he's had 1 assist to 1 turnover ratio, and then in 65 games in his NBA career, he's had 1 assist to 0.7 turnovers, and in his career in the NBA G League, he's been significantly better in the G League, but still that assist-to-turnover ratio is not good in the G League. 4.6 assists per game in the G League to 4.2 turnovers a game. Quite simply, he's below league average with the ball in his hands in terms of creating for his teammates. Now, as you could see in this video, he has some high-end passing, and he has somewhat of a high-end passing ability when it's all there. It really is those head-scratching, just low basketball IQ moments from James Bouknight that's really plagued his playmaking career. He's not a point guard at all, and the thing is, he's a 6'5" guy with this incredible wingspan. So in theory, he doesn't even have to play point guard. He can play shooting guard. It's really that lack of play strength that's really hurt him as well. That's somewhat pigeonholed him into that point guard role because he just lacks the play strength to play shooting guard at the next level. So in my opinion, first and foremost, I think James Bouknight needs to add some functional strength to his body in order to not be pigeonholed into that point guard role and for him to consistently get minutes at shooting guard. Now, getting into his G League thus far, in 25 minutes per game, he's had 12 points per game. Of course, again, this is only a 2-game sample size, but this really has been the story of his NBA career thus far. 31.3% from the field, which obviously is very bad. 22% from 3. And in his NBA career thus far, again, in 65 games, he shot 31% from 3. And again, in college, in his last year in college, he really could not shoot the 3 ball well. Something I really love about James Bouknight's game is the mentality and the overall offensive philosophy that he does hold. He holds the offensive philosophy of, I'm either going to drive, I'm either going to get a layup/dunk, I might get a nice floater around the rim. Sometimes I'll shoot a mid-range jump shot, but for the most part, I'm getting a layup or I'm getting a 3-pointer. And that's something coming out of UConn I really liked out of James Bouknight. And in the G League, it's absolutely come to fruition. And he's been an outright phenomenal scorer in the G League. In 31 G League games, he's averaged 28 points per game on 45% from the field, 41% from 3. It's such a drastic, significant difference from what he did in college and what he's done at the NBA professional level thus far. He really just needs to tap into that 3-pointer. And James Bouknight, I hate to say it, he's a guy who needs to be an above average 3-point shooter in order to succeed at the NBA level. Now, again, his slashing ability has been really good, and it's been very good at the NBA level as well. Now, sometimes he does struggle with some strong defenders that will bump him off the line, that will bump him out of his place, so he really can't slash. And against those guys, he's really just pigeonholed into a 3-point shooter. But for the most part, the slashing has not been an issue. It really has been that 3-point consistency, more so that catch and shoot off-ball 3-point consistency. And if you're playing with LaMelo Ball and company, you of course are going to have to be a good catch and shooter alongside him. And that's something James Bouknight has really struggled with. It really is vital for him to find some consistency in that 3-point jump shot. Now, I know a lot of Hornets fans are going to be in the comment section saying they gave him no chance in the 2021 draft. He was the 11th pick, and it's an absolute joke of how short his leash was in the NBA in his first 2 seasons. And to that, I say I completely agree with that. They should have given him a longer leash. There's a somewhat famous LeVar Ball interview where he's basically saying the organization has absolutely failed James Bouknight and has absolutely killed his confidence. And while I absolutely agree with him, going into year 3 at some point, it has to be sink or swim. At some point, you need to be able to play very well in very limited minutes. I know it's so hard coming off the bench, being cold, knowing the organization doesn't have a lot of faith in you, having a microscope on you, having such a short leash, missing 2 shots in a row and being taken out for the next 2 games, getting DNPs. That absolutely sucks. But again, at some point, it needs to be sink or swim for James Bouknight, and he's absolutely been sinking, and I'm very bummed by seeing how bad he's been playing in the Summer League thus far. I thought, considering he's been a very good G League player, I thought he'd come out and absolutely ball out in the Summer League, but that's absolutely not happened thus far. If I had to give an official prediction on how James Bouknight's career goes, I think the Hornets at some point will probably ship him off for a late 2nd round pick. I think they will just try to get him off the roster. I think both of them need a fresh start at this point. Do I think James Bouknight will ever be a starter in the NBA? No, I don't. Again, defensively and offensively in terms of the play creation, it just hasn't been there, and I don't envision it getting to a high level. But if he can get to about 38, 39, 40% from the field on 3-pointers, I think he can be a outright phenomenal backup point guard / backup shooting guard to a good team. If I had to officially predict, I honestly don't think that ends up happening. He probably is a guy who's going to be a solid G League player for the majority of his career. I hate to say it as a UConn fan, but that's most likely the outcome for James Bouknight. Thanks for listening, guys. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree with my takes on James Bouknight? And what do you think is next for his career in order to succeed?